I remember reading through the media announcement for FireChaser Express. It mentioned multiple launches, switch tracks, event building and backward portions. At first I was stunned, then I took a glance at the ride's stats. FireChaser Express reached a max height of 78 feet, over 2,400 feet of track, and maxing out at 34.5 miles per hour. Oh, and the launches, both maxing out at 20 miles per hour or less. My enthusiasm instantly died down. This is going to be a family coaster, so my expectations for another Maverick roller coaster was quickly dashed. Well, it's been 7 years since this roller coaster has opened, and I've gotten multiple rides on this Gerstlauer family coaster. If you watched my ranking of all the Dollywood coasters, I'm sure you already have a good idea of how I'm going to rank this roller coaster. But regardless, there are still plenty of things here to unpack that I wasn't able to discuss in that ranking video. Presentation. Dollywood has always done a decent job with their theming. I never would consider their theming to be a Universal or Disney level, but definitely ahead of the pack when compared to almost any other park in the country. The ride is themed to a fire train, tasked of keeping the Smoky Mountains safe from, you guessed it, fires. The track is painted a faded green color to help blend it in with the surrounding forest. The trains are a bright fire engine red and really pop against the backdrop of the ride. The heaviest themed section of the ride is the event building. It's a fireworks shed that's on fire. Apparently someone was careless and lit a couple fireworks, including Big Bertha, the giant rocket that threatens to blow you up. Riders manage to escape in time as you blast out backwards from the raging inferno. The station and the queue is themed to a fire station, but not overly immersive as I hoped. However, it still gets the job done. In the end, the theming and presentation is one of the best in the park, earning itself a 9.5. I only give it a slight mark because there could have been some more theming added to the station and the queue area. Ride intensity. This is a family roller coaster, so if you're expecting a launch roller coaster similar to Maverick, you'll be disappointed. The minimum rider height is 42 inches, so my 5-year-old daughter was able to ride this one with me. The ride starts off with a 16-mile-per-hour launch out of the station. It may not be super fast or forceful, but it's a fun way to start the ride. After performing a helix, the roller coaster starts its climb up the lift. After a couple turns, including a diving turn, riders get tossed out of their seat with 2 airtime hills. I was surprised how good the airtime is on this roller coaster, especially if you are riding in the front or back row. After another turn, the train slows down at the mid-course brake run. The ride makes a 180-degree turn, followed by another airtime hill that leads into a low-to-the-ground S-bend. The train has now entered the event building. After the firework mayhem unfolds, riders are then blasted backwards up to 20 miles an hour. This is my favorite part of the ride, especially if you are seated in the front row. Suddenly, you are in the back of the train being yanked over a couple hills that will have you floating out of your seat. After another turn, the ride comes to a stop on the brake run. The launches may not be that fast, but they do pack a punch. Overall, the forces on this roller coaster are tame enough that the younger audience will still be able to enjoy, but at the same time, strong enough that older kids will still stay engaged. FireChaser Express really finds a good balance, making this one of my favorite family coasters out there. FireChaser Express earns a 5 score for ride intensity. Fun factor. When you take a look at the whole picture, FireChaser Express has a lot to offer. The launches, backward portion, airtime, snappy turns, and theming. I mean, what's not to love? Even before I was able to take Braylon on this roller coaster, I still found enjoyment and would get back in line whenever we were walking by the attraction. Now that I get to ride this coaster with Braylon, it makes the experience that much greater. I expect many family memories to be created at Dollywood while riding this roller coaster. FireChaser is a fun roller coaster that earns a decent 9 rating. Originality. For its time, FireChaser Express was a somewhat original product. We had multi-launching roller coasters, rides that travel forward and backward, but the way this roller coaster tackles it all makes this ride feel fresh. I felt like its closest comparison of the time was Revenge of the Mummy at Universal Studios. However, this ride is more family-oriented, and Mummy is designed for a slightly more mature audience. Because of that similarity, I'll dock FireChaser Express 1 point, bringing its originality score to 9. Ride smoothness. Being a Gerstlauer, I expected a couple bumps or janky transitions along the way. For the most part, FireChaser Express is a relatively smooth ride. It's really a couple transitions that get a little rough. The most notable one is a transition into the lift. Instead of a nice single bend of track into the lift, it splits into two parts. There's a short pre-lift that transitions into the actual lift. Overall, expect to have a smooth ride experience that won't hinder you from re-riding. Ride smoothness gets a score of 9. Okay, my final score comes to 8.3, which is a great score for a family coaster. Those who are expecting a Maverick-style coaster will be disappointed, but if you ride this with the proper expectations, FireChaser Express will deliver. In my opinion, the only major drawback is the ride capacity. Each train can only hold a max of 14 riders, and with the slow transition of moving the trains in and out of the station, the line can really back up. On a busy day, FireChaser Express can have one of the longest lines in the park. For this reason, I suggest rope dropping this ride before heading on over to Lightning Rod. My personal experience is going to be a 10, and that's when comparing it to other family coasters. The ride wouldn't hold a candle if I were to compare it to other great launching coasters like Thunderbird, Storm Runner, Top Thrill Dragster, and even Lightning Rod. But it does excel against most family coasters of its caliber. FireChaser Express is the complete package with great theming, fun airtime, and a solid layout. I hope other theme parks take note of this attraction and we'll see more of these styles of coasters in the future. As much as I love great intense roller coasters, sometimes it's nice to unwind on a fun-going attraction. Well, thank you for watching today's review. What do you think of FireChaser Express? Let me know all about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please click on that like button and subscribe. That way you'll continue to get more great content brought to you by XscreamThrills.